Hello everyone, we again here with a new episode of Communication Talk organized by our Communication Club. And I'm Tabassum hosting the sixth episode of the show. Our today's topic of discussion is media literacy in 21st century society, and we have our renowned and veteran scholar of this sector, Shah MD Nister Jahan Kabir, Ph.D, Chairperson of Mass Communication and Journalism, Jagannath University. Wallace Gichunge, Founder and Executive Director, Center for Media and Information Literacy, Kenya, and Sandeep Varma, Assistant Professor, Mass Communication, MGAHU, India. Hello everyone, hope you are doing very well. Hello. Hello sir. Hello.
Hello.
Sir, I already told that today's our topic of discussion is the media literacy in 21st century. So before we start our program, I just want to let the audience know that they can comment their inquiry, any question or their opinion. So do hurry and comment on our comment section if you want to know something from our veteran scholars on this topic. Okay, sir, as it is said in our topic that the media literacy of 21st century, so it is very common question for us that is there any basic differences between the media literacy of 21st century and the society of previous centuries. So we all know that media literacy means the ability to access, evaluate, and critically analyze the media, all forms of media, and the ability to create new media also. So my first question is to Mr. Wallace Gichunge that is there any basic differences between the 21st century media literacy, the 21st century media literacy society and the previous century society? Is there any differences? Have you found any differences? And would you please point those out for our audience?
Thank you very much for the question. And I'm happy to be here to discuss media and information literacy, which is my pet topic for the last couple of years, totaling to about 7 years right now. Thank you so much. Now, when you talk about the 21st century society, we are talking about what is also called the information age. So information here in the sense that everyone, the other ages, there was the Stone Age, there was the Industrialization Age and whatnot, but then we have the information age, whereby we have just so much information from everywhere, and the technology has made it possible that now we don't wait for information peddlers, as it were. We actually see that information, see events and stuff, we create it and we share it amongst ourselves. So the information age is the sense that right now we are able to have an event, different time zones, and different persuasions, but we are able to have a synchronized kind of event, and we are able to reach audiences across the world. That is the information age we are talking about. Essentially, as a UNESCO, whom I work very closely with, have pointed out is that there is a lot of mediatization of audiences and the public. Essentially, the public is very mediatized, so media plays a very important role in our daily lives. It has become like a culture. That is why we need to have every citizen of the world today to navigate, to have media literacy skills to help them navigate around the information age. That's and the 21st century skill is media and information literacy skill. Literacy cannot be complete without media and information literacy. Not initially when other societies, all they needed was just ability to read, write, and numerate. Now we need media literacy as well because it mediates the world for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Thank you very much for your important opinion on this topic. Okay, and media literacy in 21st century, I think it is very important for us and as well as also for our country. So my next question is to Mr. Nister Kabir sir, that can you please describe for the audience the present condition and scenario of media literacy? Bangladesh media literacy? Can you just describe the present condition?
Thank you, Tori. It's a nice question. Actually, the question we heard from the previous century, the question is still going on at the present century too. Because who said what? That is what you say, that we need to understand message critically. And we need to understand essays, we need to essays, evaluate, etc. Blah, 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 blah. The problem was there in previous century that we could not, it was not very easy to create a new, to create a media or to make a new platform by ourselves. But in this century, information, as we call information society, the information society make it easier for us to make our own platform on social media or through new communication technology. The problem is there. It's not. That is what in previous century we asked who is writing what for whom. The question is still here, but the problem is that now problem was in previous century that there was no participatory communication. That is what possible in this century. But again, when you assess, when you analyze, when you evaluate or create a new media, the question is always there. Who is doing what? Who is saying what? And what? This question will be at all time, and we have to perhaps carry out not only this century, perhaps the next century, because our agenda is there through our language, through our image, and through our ambition. I think that agenda, we need to understand the agenda. The critical understanding is important to understand the agenda of others. So the question will be, it will never be, we will never be able to ignore this question. This question will be at all times. But people are learning, people are doing, technology is in their hands. It will be advancing day after day. The technology, the communication images we got through technology perhaps make us very happy at this moment. But who knows, in next century, people will laugh at us like radio. Thank you very much. I think I have made my position clear.
Yes, sir. You did indeed. Okay, thank you very much, sir, for your valuable opinion. Okay, so I'm going to the next question that Mr. Wallace has already mentioned a term that information age and mediatized society, right? So my next question is to Sandeep Kumar Varma, that now we know that there are immense of media and immense of information, and we are living in a society of information, and yeah, it's obviously indeed an information age and era of information, and people are becoming mediatized, and they are turning back to print media, to electronic media, and then from electronic media to online portal and internet based media. But among all of these things, there are certain point comes that in case of media literacy or in case of media, there should be some ethical point of view or some ethics. So what can be the ethical parameter of media literacy? What do you think in this arena?
Thank you. Of course, media is a tool which is very important to us, and the golden, I think, one age is to develop this media, because the entire journey of the media, since the print media to the new media, is a very fluctuated situation, because society of our entire globe, we can see the fluctuation, just because some major nations are ruling over some developing countries. So, in Indian situation, we can see that the right of the media, using of the media. is very important, because in Indian scenario we can see this media is only not only in separate commercial or professional issue. It is a right of citizen. So in our rights, we can understand that how a right can arise the entire uh, business of the media, and the business which is beyond the limit of the speech and expression right. So the right, how it should be count in the nationwide, or a person or a society, because in a society we can build justice society, and the equality and the freedom of speech and expression. The entire three situations: freedom and equality and the justice. These are basics, fundamental rights in our nation. So we can origin here by the nation and by the rights of the people. So we can understand how a right is very important as to develop media. But in the current scenario, electronic media and the new media is open to all, but uh, we are using and we are harassing also. So the media which is origin by a right, that is now harassing the society, and how the society will be built and developed. So this is the challenge. So I think the parameter should be exist by the rules and by the laws, because if we will not having some legal parameters, how the society will develop. The truth is this, because we have so many hurdles to express our the society is very important to know our rights, how to use, because so many peoples and so many groups and so many political approaches, so many thoughts, and so many contradictory political issues are conflicting to the society by the use of social media, by the control of so many unnecessary things, just like defamatory things and defamatory content are misusing to the society, and some major issues like uh, I think the false and commercial speeches. So how should we it control? Because we are not in the age of the only commercial and some issues that media use only unnecessary things. So should we go with the true and with the legacy of the rights? Because if we not protect the privacy of someone, we cannot express the real, uh, I think, real speech and expression. So it will be protected by the laws and rules.
Thank you very much, sir. And by the least of your opinion, here we have another question for you. That you have mentioned that there should be three fundamental parameters like freedom, equality, and justice, and the commercials, what they are doing, the rights of citizen, and the business minded media. But and also our Mr. Kabir sir mentioned that who, for whom, in which media, and for what. And this thing that what they are trying to sell to us, right? Do you think that our people really discover that what media is trying to sell, or can they understand the persuasive intent of any media, like advertising? It can be the media news, it can be the advertising agency, it can be anything. But are they becoming the only are they becoming the audience, or are they becoming the consumer of products and information? Just if you make it clear.
Yes, you mentioned just like advertisement. Advertisement is, I know, we know all the advertisement are for the purpose of the upliftment of business and finally the commercial entitlement. But some business shall be in the process of the legacy. Just like no one can sell or advertise beyond the preference and privileges of the society, because popular service and popular practice is with a parameter. No person can change, because in our society communication and social transformation is very important. So we cannot abolish by any rule or any term of the media, because we are in society which is used by some role of media. So the very important thing is to develop how the communication practices shall be strong, how it will be exist. We have to develop the entire society in information age. We can see all the media tools like radio, television, and new media also are in covering with a single platform, that is new media. And new media is I think facing some problems like entertainment contest, because all the things are coming just like entertainment version. So it is very I think challenging that how it will be the communication shall be safe and a very easy platform to build a nation, because we can see the basic approaches of the communication are disturbed by the legal misinformation. So it is the need to develop the society which is only can be created by the media literacy. So our approaches can be only developed by the media literacy, because I think the dynamics of the our society is communication system. So I think the reflection must be uh, show by media literacy.
Thank you very much, sir, for making us clear. And you said you have mentioned it that the new media is lacking behind some entertainment, but we all know that new media is the latest creation at the beginning of 21st century. So new media is a new term for the student or for the student of communication and journalism. So I just want to know from Mr. Wallace that are we lagging behind in the consumption on the opportunities of new media due to the lack of proper media literacy? Like we all know that new media is taking the place of traditional medias, right? But are we lagging behind in taking the advantages, in taking the opportunities of new media due to the lack of media literacy? Because we are not educated in media literacy as well.
Thank you, Tahura. That's a very nice question. In fact, in that world where you and I belong to, I think the concept of media literacy is a bit novel, it's a bit new. Well, it has been in existence in the West, the Americas, for the last 40 years or so. That is according to the history of one of the major researchers and resource developers on media and information literacy, that is UNESCO. I would say that, yes, in a big way, probably what we are experiencing most, although I don't want to sound pessimistic, is that we might gain the negative aspects of new media through misinformation and disinformation if we are not media and information literate. That has become a very big problem, especially in the third world, and it has come to manifest itself, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. That is why there's a new term in 2020 called infodemic. The infodemic is actually misinformation and disinformation that has come out as a result of people being able to create information and share it without curating it the way it used to be initially. So media and information literacy skills are very important for the information age. There is no way we are going to harness the opportunities and the benefits of the new media and the information age without media and information literacy skills. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. As you said that we cannot consume the opportunities of new media without media literacy skills. So here comes the question about being educated and being literate in case of media. So my next question is to Mr. Nister sir, that everyone thinks that the formally educated people or the university graduate or highly job holder, they don't need to know the importance or the basic of media literacy. Is it true? Is it true? Do you think that yes, it is? Or if it is not, then how can we educate them? What measurements can we take to educate them in case of media literacy? In the perspective of Bangladesh media literacy, would you please describe it to us?
Thank you very much. Actually, it is very difficult. It is very difficult to make people media literate. In terms of Bangladeshi people, here our academia, in our the practice of academia, are not that level. I mean, they are not sound in that level, so that they will understand what is bad information or what is misinformed, how he is misinformed or how is abused by information. This is why we, in many cases, believe in rumor. Even we spread rumor. Many high educated, I mean, quote high educated people are involved in spreading rumor. And um, another thing is that advertising. That is what Professor Sandeep said before. Advertising by image is actually, it is very visible, but in some cases we advertise or we commercialize our language and many other issues to profit ourselves. That is what very important, and many of our high educated, I'm saying again quote unquote, high educated people are involved there. So it is not very easy in terms of Bangladesh to make people educated. And in many cases, I have seen, my experience is that I mean, the people who does not have mass education, I mean, in terms of formal education, they are doing very well. I would say that they are literate. I mean, media literate, but the formal, high educated people are not. In terms of Bangladesh, I have seen many university professors as well. They spread, I mean, they are through social media. They spread, what is that? I mean, they are involved in exclusion process or othering. That is, I mean, it is very possible because of new media. But the person, I would say, is not media literate as at all. If he is literate, he would know how to behave with his language and how to handle his language and how to uh, make people comfortable through his language or her language. But I am experienced with some of examples that does not make me happy, because many of our social members are unhappy with their messages. This is what I mean. Yes, still, if you say in terms of formal education, if you say that high educated people, I would say they need to be trained again, or they need to conceptualize or understand what is what. I mean, the othering or hate speech, the exclusion process, how they involve in exclusion process through their language, through their image that is uploaded in their wall, or that is spread through social media. They need to understand it fast. Yes, they are high educated. They even did their masters, they even did their MPhil, they did their PhD, but they are not media literate. This is why they are doing this kind of evil. They are involved in that kind of evil information. This is why I would say Bangladesh still is not ready, and Bangladeshi many people, I mean, in the upper level, educated people are not media literate, and this is why they need to be trained more, and they need to conceptualize about their society, about others. I mean, what people, I mean, other people are thinking about my language, the image I am showing people, what is their impression about me. This is what is very important in terms of critical understanding of our society. That is, in many cases, is still absent. And another thing is that people does not want to, or people does not want to, they do not want to stop rumor, I mean, in full. They want to stop that kind of rumor that may harm himself. That is very bad. If you want to stop anything bad or any misinformation or disinformation, you need to handle it. I mean, it's once again the responsibility of our authority, I would say the government, so that people will not spread this kind of rumor, misinformation, and disinformation that every day commercialize and um, propagate inside society. Thank you very much. That is what I want to say.
Thank you, Mr. Sir. Thank you very much. As you mentioned that formally educated people are spreading rumors and hate speech through social context or social medias or through the medias. So, do you think that is there any cautions that we can take for establishing media literacy in Bangladesh? Do you think that these kind of measurements should be taken by the government as well as by the audience and the mass people of Bangladesh to prevent this kind of thing? What should be the media literacy of Bangladesh?
The problem is that it is not the question, I mean, problem of Bangladesh itself. In many in many third world countries are suffering in this way. Actually, our government, I mean, many governments in the third world nations, I say that they want to, they do not want to stop rumor, disinformation or misinformation. I mean, I mean, from all sides. I mean, they do not stop it absolutely. They want to stop it partially. I mean, this is what again the agenda. I mean, if you like me, I can say anything. I mean, if I say anything good, you will accept it. If I say anything bad, I mean, if I criticize you, you will stop me. This is what this is a critical position of many third world nations. The problem is that the person you are not liking, if anybody interrupt in this image or they propagate against him, many authorities will not say anything. That is what is important. And many high educated people are involved in this case. It is not the question, it's not the case of Bangladesh. In many societies, especially in third world nation. You know, a recent, I mean, not very recent, last year's an incident in Christchurch. The person was spreading anti-immigrant, anti-black, anti-Asian, anti-Asian information through his Facebook. Government did not, I mean, New Zealand government did not care initially. I mean, for their carelessness, gradually what happened you have seen. In Christchurch, I mean, at least 51 people, I mean, were killed. This is what, I mean, when you feel that some organization or some people is doing something or that may harm the society, it is the responsibility of our authority to stop it at the first place. Another thing is that the person we claim that we are high educated, they need to be very careful. When they say they belongs to the high level, I mean high society, or they cross I mean they are within the level of high education, they need to think, I mean, from their position, that what they are doing, what they are saying, and what they are uploading through social media or elsewhere, even through their public screens. They need to be very, very careful. Long ago, I mean many years, even 1,000 years ago, Aristotle sage, what actually trying to say in front of your people, you revise this twice by yourself, then deliver it. That is what we need to think. It is not the responsibility only our government. It is not the responsibility of a social member himself or herself. It is responsibility from the both sides. We need to come ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, and obviously you said a very important thing that it is not only the responsibility of the government as well as it is the responsibility of us, the consumer or the audience, that we should know our own media literacy. So we are moving on our next question that I will come back to Mr. Wallace. That you said that information age and media society, again, there we are in the media information age society as well as misinformation age society, right? So nowadays there is a very cherished and practiced term that citizen journalism. Citizen journalism is playing a very important role in the society. Sometimes it is a blessing and sometimes it is not a blessing for us. Sometimes we can see that the public, the highly educated or formally educated public as well, spread false news, as Mr. said. So without any cross-check, they share and making the videos or any news viral in the social media or in any kind of media or public sphere. But do you think that, and apparently it is causing infodemic, right? Apparently it is causing infodemic in this 2020. And do you think that can we use media literacy to prevent our citizen journalism to be an infodemic? Is there any way to do that? Mr. Wallace, can you hear me? Mr. Wallace, are you there? Sorry, I think that we lost our connection. Yeah, Mr. Wallace is again with us. Mr. Wallace, I was asking you a question. I think that you couldn't hear. Okay, I am repeating myself again. As you mentioned that we are living in an age of information and mediatized society, and I think that we also are living in a society of misinformation, right? And nowadays there is a very practiced term that citizen journalism, because media literacy covers from print media to the videos of internet. The every sphere media literacy covers it up. So citizen journalism also includes in media literacy, I think. So media literacy is playing a very important role in our society nowadays, and sometimes it's a blessing because it helps us a lot. Sometimes it's not a blessing because the people of across the world, any citizen can do this. They are spreading false news, false information, and making any false videos, hateful videos viral. So, and apparently it causes infodemic. In any country it can happen, like nowadays for corona pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, that infodemic is occurring the most. So do you think that is there any way to use our media literacy to prevent our citizen journalism to be an infodemic? Is there any way that how can we use our media literacy to prevent the citizen journalism to be an infodemic?
Thank you so much for that question. It's very much in context with what is happening across the world. While we are talking about misinformation, disinformation, infodemic, and all that, I think we need to have a caution that really media literacy is not about the negatives. It is much more about empowerment, how to harness, like I mentioned, the information age so that it is useful for all of us. We all know that information is power, really, and initially those who had information were very powerful. They were very few and far between. Now that citizens themselves can actually see stuff, record it, disseminate it within their networks, And thanks to technology, people have become more empowered. People are now consuming, the citizens are now consuming information that is relevant to them, not just that somebody else thought that this is what you need to consume. So within those small groups of information consumption, there is a lot of empowerment. So media literacy essentially is on how do we become more empowered now that we have access to information. We can actually see the information on the events happening and share them within our networks. At the same time, it's about empowering us to know that there is real information and there is fake information for that matter, and fake news for that matter. So for me, citizen journalism is a plus because it gives avenues for news and events that would otherwise not be seen because other journalists are the journalists themselves in the legacy media, as you put it, might be limited. There's so much information that can fit in a news bulletin. There's so much information that can fit in a newspaper or a radio bulletin, but there is immense information. It's limitless what can fit in a social media forum, for example. So people get to know more about the stuff that is happening across the world and relevant information for that matter. So media literacy for citizen journalists is very important because it is here with us. The age is here with us. People are going to see things, record them, and share them. But we also need to know how do we have some form of ethics? How do we have some kind of not necessarily journalistic professionalism, but some form of citizen professionalism, so that we don't just do things that are pervasive or are hurting other people. For example, people invading privacy. For example, people doing some very graphic stuff that is offending to the audiences. And that is a form of empowerment that is needed for citizen journalism. So any media literate
We are sorry. I think that we have lost connection with him. But thank you, Mr. Wallace, for your valuable opinion. Yeah, we could understand what you tried to say. That is, media literacy is important in citizen journalism because citizen journalism is a new form of our media, and it needs literacy and it needs some kind of cautions that everyone of that's very good. And now I just want to ask that we know that media literacy is not only the studies that you learn how to think critically, how to be creative, or how to analyze the media, but it is also creating the media, right? And you must create the media in all forms if you want to know the media literacy. So nowadays we can hear that social media, everyone is saying like this, and some of the scholars are refusing that no, social media is not the media, but the media literacy is saying that yes, in all forms of media literacy covers it up. So can you, Mr. Sandeep Kumar, can you kindly describe us the media literacy in the context of social media? Sir, your mic is muted, so I think that you should unmute. Yeah, thank you.
So, media
Sir, again,
platform, just like yes, yes, all the kind of media tools and the journalism. Basic thing is how to express their ideas in the term of citizen journalism and the new media and social media. Both are very equal to express all the things because in the term of democracy, media is to save the rights and some basic thing is and also a thing that give voice to voiceless persons the media work of the media is, and the target of the journalism is give voice to voiceless. But there are so many platforms for the voice person. Like I think so many person are intervening all the entire scenario of the democracy. So how it should be controlled, and it should be with a reasonable restriction. How should be they aware the media is how it will be accurate and fair. The purpose of the media is to uh, develop the society, whether it may in the term of the local level or national level or international level. All the level are facing some trouble also, because we can see some news agencies are targeting some nations also. They are targeting some nation. Entire nation is suffering from the news agencies. They are not serving the accurate fairness and the news services about the country. Some situation are really, I think, intervening by the information, and some wrong doers. So it can be entertained by the some reasonable restriction and the proper training of the citizen. They how can they uh, absorb the media, and how can they understood the media, because we are not having such a society who can entertain all the things with the analytical way of thinking, where they are intervening, and some by some communal, even communal intervention can be seen by the media. And there are so many examples in such countries, whether it may in Bangladesh, it may in India, it may in several countries of the Africa, it may in Europe also. We can see all the things, because just caste, religion and community references, and they can we can count all the miscreants, habitual, they are also in the discussion. They come and they disturb all the scenario. So our citizen must be, I think, proper clear how they will treat the media and how they will gain the media by. So it is vice versa practice, and we have to develop this practice.
Thank you, sir. As you said that it is a vice versa practice, yeah, that is. But we know that nowadays it's 21st century, and we are living in the society of 21st century. And nowadays the people are moving towards internet and electronic based media rather than print medias. And nowadays online portals and internet televisions are becoming very famous among the mass people. So we can't imagine some of there are many people that who even can't imagine society without newspaper, and there are some people who can't even imagine a society without television. But the reality is that about more than 80% of people are now trying to get information or news from many internet based source. So can you please describe that what can be the future of a media-less society in this Asian subcontinent, like your country, India, our country, Bangladesh, and Pakistan, altogether? What can be the media-less society, the scenario of a media-less society?
Yes, of course, media-based society shall be developed with the dignity of the citizen.
No, sorry,
That
media-less society. I asked that what would be the scenario of a media-less society?
you mean less means low level, or less? I mean
Less,
equipped with.
like
Yes,
acute.
equipped. Yes, I'm
Media-less
saying
society.
I think the city, actually the society with equipped with so many media tools that can develop. It is very true, but how it is will be built by the dignity of the citizen. Because if a citizen will find all the things just like without fear and any fraudulent speech and expression, the important thing is this. Because our dignity is very important, not only for the person. Dignity is also for the race, dignity is for the gender, dignity is for the activities in the society, and dignity of the proper way of the development and interference. So the very important thing is how we are handling by the media, and how we are handling to the media. This is a very important. Our Supreme Court also intervening our some issues very time, and I also express that all the things are running in the media very free flow, but extra free flow is uh, pinching our this media system and media practices. So it is to regulate, and one thing is also important, how the citizen journalism can be controlled, because if the citizen journalism is very free to access, and each and every person are intervening all the programs, all the things, and you said that very true, that all the information we are getting by the new media, but in daily practices we are also harassing by the some social media. You can see in every country, in every situation, in every society, some ladies and some teenagers are teasing such a matters. So we have to building the social media with a strong perspective of the maturity, and some legal compound with the healthy practices of the media.
Thank you very much, Sandeep Kumar sir. And my next question is for Mr. Nister sir. That during this pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, we have experienced, the Bangladeshi people have experienced that infodemic, right? And many rumors regarding to COVID-19 situation. So after this pandemic is over, we will evaluate the role of our media. Then I just want to know what would be your evaluation of the role of Bangladeshi media.
I
Sir,
think,
can you hear me?
I missed something. Tell me again. Can you
Oh,
please?
oh, uh, yes, I'm repeating again that we all know that our nation is going through a very tough time for this COVID-19 situation, and during this situation, we have faced some kind of infodemic for news rumors or any kind of rumors. And we know that the media literacy, the task of media literacy is to evaluate the role of media. From a scholar like you, I just want to know your evaluation of Bangladeshi media during this pandemic.
Actually, what Sandeep said, that we need to practice a healthy um, media literacy. Actually, during COVID-19, we could not achieve that level of healthy practice. That is what we have seen in many cases, and there are rumor in our social media. Even there were rumors in our portal, newspaper portal. That is not, I mean, that was, in many cases, it was very, not only unexpected, it was sometimes could be identified as a crime. That is what we have seen. I mean, this practice is not good. We were not very happy with this kind of social media literacy, or it is not a literacy at all. It's this kind of practice we were not happy. But in many cases, yes, social media help us. In many cases, help us to, awareness building, to provide very good information. That is what through healthy practices. Um, so many people, what he said, Wallace said that through, uh, 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 citizen journalism, they also voluntarily produce, provided information about COVID-19, etc. And many issues are relating to COVID-19 in our country, like education, primary, high school, university. We got it before focusing in traditional media. That is what was very positive. But in many cases, there are very, very negative things. For example, in our social media, we have seen that some preachers, they are placing the idea of COVID-19. I mean, what scientists say and what he is producing is quite different, far different. But some people, without searching the fact, they are taking the information what actually is not true. That is, I mean, um, that is what the person who is actually picking up that kind of disinformation or misinformation, knowingly or unknowingly, it's not only it's not a mistake. It's that simply a crime to our society. That is what I am experienced in Bangladesh during COVID-19. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We have come to the end of this program, but my last question is for Mr. Wallace. That media or print media or electronic media or the internet-based media, they always tries to convey us any kind of message. They tries to encode a message through their products. Like maybe it is information, maybe it is any soap opera, or maybe it is any program. So they try to encode us a message, and the audience decode that message through that product or through that medium. So, do you think that is there any kind of due to lack of media literacy, any kind of misunderstanding creates there in third world country, basically?
Thank you very much. I think what you just described is what is called programming. Because the legacy media, the original media that we know it, they gather content, they curate it, and then they disseminate it, depending on what they think the audiences want. But that kind of arrangement has already been disrupted by the new media. It is very difficult to know what exactly people want nowadays, because you might have a newspaper, probably have an headline that you want to sell with, and then nobody wants to buy that paper. Same as the television bulletin. You might come with 3 items that you want to pull the audiences to, but it's very difficult. But you see, in the social media, for example, you'll find that there are people who are called influencers who have a lot of following. Sometimes one person can have more following than the circulation of an entire newspaper or the viewership of a program. So it is very difficult to actually point out and say that this is what the media wants. This is what this is the best media for this kind of audience, because audiences have been mixed up. They are not prosumers. They both consume and produce. That becomes an element of some kind of confusion. But as we might say, because of the internet and the new media and technology, we can now say very safely that there is more to information than we previously knew. Information management, for that matter, in the whole process and the news ecology, the whole process of getting information and news, curating it and getting it to the audiences, the process has been disrupted, as it were, and I don't think it is going to change. But I always say I think Sandeep mentioned the issue of freedom of expression. I think whoever came up with the freedom of expression did not envisage there's a time when everybody actually can have an opinion. We only would express that opinion if somebody interviewing you with a microphone or somebody want to quote you in a newspaper. But now, with our social media page, you can actually say what you think. Facebook, for example, asks you, what is in your mind? So that's a very powerful question. And you can have the 5 billion users of Facebook, I don't know how many they are at the moment, have something in their mind. Essentially, for me, I think the media literacy aspect of legacy media is the sense that actually the citizens have been empowered properly for freedom of expression. Now they can even access more information. It is for us now to live in the new world of information, and for us to harness that power of the information society is to give people media literacy skills. It's a difficult task, as Shah, Mr. Kabir said, but small steps. Probably we can start with the captive audiences. I will not say that as such, but the audiences were small children, the people who have gone to school and are working or are adults might have escaped the loop, but they are now very much users of the media, consumers and prosumers and all that. But we can capture the small children who are still in school through media literacy initiatives in school. We can also capture the youth, because the youth are mostly the users of new media. They are called the digital natives, as opposed to us who are digital immigrants. We are the people who are found by the new media. But now, because we have discovered that there is need for that skill, it's for us now to retool the way we consume news and information. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And yeah, obviously you mentioned a very good thing that yeah, we can educate our adults, but we can't educate our kids in media. I mean, we can't prevent our kids from from anything seeing or hearing. But yeah, we can educate them in case of media, and we can literate them in the sector of media. That's true. So thank you very much, Shah, Nister, Kabir, Wallace, Gichunge, and Sandeep Kumar Varma. If we sum up our today's conversation or discussion, whatever we did, that media literacy, however, helps us to be competent, creative, critical, and also literate in all forms of media, so that we can we can control the interpretation of what we see, what we hear, rather than letting the interpretation control us. And another thing that we must know how to ask question, that the media, for whom they are showing something, for whom they are giving this information, and what kind of information they are giving, and what they are trying to interpret, or what they are trying to encode to the audience. And also we have to be a very smart consumer of our products, and also very smart consumer of our information. And in all forms of media, we must know our media literacy for our own sake, not for others, but for us, for to prevent our infodemic and to prevent any kind of misunderstanding in case of media. And thank you very much for this important discussion for us. My cordial obeisance and genuflexium to all of you. And yeah, I think that I have to say goodbye now. Thank you very much, Shanista Kobi sir, Sandeep Kumar Burma, and Wallace Gichunge. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I
Thank
can
you.
see you.
Nice to see you all.
Thank you.